What's going on, guys? JSGC here, and we are here for another Manchester City video. Today we're going to be reviewing the Manchester City season for 2023-24, which saw Manchester City become history makers. So before I do crack on with this video, make sure, like always, if you are enjoying the content, do subscribe to my channel. Now less than 100 subscribers away from my aim of 35,000 subscribers, so any help towards that would be great. Also, don't forget social media links, they're in the description if you want to go and follow me on my Twitter, Instagram and TikTok. Email also in the description too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorship for any videos or any general business inquiries. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up. 200 likes is the aim. Do let me know your thoughts as well in the comments below. Finally, I'd say a big thank you to today's video sponsor, which is brought to you by Football Prizes, where you guys can spin to win. You have got 6 times chances to win a spin on the Manchester City wheel, which includes great prizes like signed shirts from Joško Gvardiol, from Rico Lewis, and from Pep Guardiola himself as well, which all come with certificates of authentication. There's also 17 instant prizes to be won as well, so do go and check it out. Links and details, they are in the description. Tickets cost £3.95. The ticket competition expires on Thursday, 30th of May, with a 7:30 PM BST ending on that. There's 399 tickets available. You can buy as many tickets as you want, so do go and check it out. Links and details there in the description. I'd like to say a big thank you to Football Prizes for sponsoring this video. So we're going to crack on with this season review, and we're going to cast our minds all the way back to the very beginning of the season. We're going to speak about the Community Shield, the first trophy on offer of the season, where Manchester City, in my opinion, probably should have won the Community Shield. We put ourselves in a brilliant position, going 1-0 up before Arsenal, who we faced that day at Wembley, found an equaliser in the 101st minute, 11 minutes into injury time, scoring literally with the last kick of the game to send the game into penalties rather than into extra time. And ultimately, Manchester City came up short on that penalty shootout, losing 4-1. Disappointing. Arsenal took the Community Shield and Manchester City came away without the Shield, which would have been a great start to the season. Here we are. Is it season defying? Absolutely not. However, the next trophy that was put on offer for Manchester City was the European Super Cup, and a little bit like the Community Shield was Manchester City playing a good game, Manchester City drawing the game, ultimately not winning the game, and the game, like the Community Shield, going to penalties. This time, lessons were learned against Sevilla in the European Super Cup in Greece, and Manchester City took home the trophy, winning 5-4 on penalties. And who knows, that penalty shootout loss against Arsenal may just have given City the motivation to push themselves to ensure that they didn't lose the penalty shootout for the European Super Cup. And we've won the Community Shield several times before. European Super Cup, we've never won that before. It's a trophy that City will have wanted to have won, and we managed to get it done, so very happy with that. The next trophy that will have been put on offer for Manchester City was the League Cup. We exited at the first chance of asking in the third round with a loss against Newcastle United away from home, 1-0 at St James's Park. I didn't see much point of Manchester City progressing in the League Cup, considering by the time we got to the quarter-final stage, we'd be in Saudi Arabia for the Club World Cup, which meant that whoever we faced in the quarter-final, should we get there, we literally would have to put the EDS team out, because the first team squad will have gone to the Club World Cup. So to me, and I said it at the time, it was within City's best interest to ensure that we go out of the competition, because we don't want that as a distraction. We don't want it as player fatigue, and what we don't want to do is get to the quarter-final stage, an EDS team goes out against a Premier League first team put out of the competition. So rather than using player fatigue, you may as well just go out at the first time of asking. So I had no problems with that. It did come at a little sticky point in the season for City, though. It saw us lose 3 out of 4 games in all competitions at that time. Anyway, speaking of the Club World Cup, no problems at all for Manchester City in December. Won the competition. It will have been one of the biggest priorities for City to have won, to become Club World Champions for the first time. And we managed to do that in convincing fashion, beating Urawa of Japan 3-0 in the semi-final and Fluminense of Brazil 4-0 in the final in Saudi Arabia. So very happy with that. And I think Man City used that as confidence to spur them on into the second half of the season as well, going on a very long unbeaten run through the second half of the season that saw City City take away some tremendous successes from that season and picking up some really good results along the way as well. And it was all, I felt like that was the little turning point for City in the season, so very happy with that. Not only was it wins, but convincing wins, clean sheets, confidence wins that City took in, and we came back after the Club World Cup after Christmas against Everton, beat them, and not really looked back since. Now, moving on to the other competition, which is the FA Cup, made it to the final. We beat Huddersfield at home 5-0 in the third round. We ended our Tottenham Hotspur new stadium curse with a 1-0 win in the fourth round. We beat Luton away 6-2 in the fifth round. We beat Newcastle at home 2-0 in the quarter-final. We beat Chelsea 1-0 at Wembley in the semi-final. Chelsea probably should have gone on to have won that game if they'd been practicing shooting. They hadn't, and Man City put them, to the sword, basically. We ended up taking our one opportunity that we had in the game to come away with the win to set up the Manchester Derby 2.0 FA Cup final. And unlike last season where we managed to win the game, this season ultimately falling a little bit short thanks to a pretty dodgy 20 minutes or so in the first half, saw Manchester United take the trophy away from Manchester City, and we couldn't make our own little bit of history in retaining the FA Cup for the first time in our history. It's great to get to the final. It's gutting to lose to Manchester United in the final. Here we are. It is what it is. I'd rather fans got to enjoy days out at Wembley. It's the memories that you get to make rather than just we're going to chuck the competition at the early stages and focus on something else, because there's no guarantees you're going to come away with trophies, because otherwise you end up doing what Arsenal have done, which is have a really good season, a solid season, but got no silverware. And so, is it a successful season? Well, questions do get asked, so here we are. Anyway, the success for Manchester City came in the Premier League. Now, we had lost just 3 games in the Premier League this season. Wolves away 2-1 after winning our first 6 Premier League games in the season. We then went on to lose consecutive Premier League games against Wolves away, Arsenal away, so losing 1-0 away at Arsenal. It saw us lose 3 out of 4 games, as I said before, in all competitions by the end of September into early October, with an away win against Leipzig 3-1 in the Champions League sandwiched in there as that only win. And then Manchester City's only other Premier League loss in the season came on December 6th away at Aston Villa in what was, to me, the worst performance we'd put in all season, losing 1-0 to Aston Villa at Villa Park. And Manchester City then, during that little run of losing to Aston Villa, we'd gone 4 Premier League games without a win during the end of November into early December, with a 4-4 away draw against Chelsea, a 1-1 draw at home against Liverpool, and a 3-3 draw at home to Tottenham Hotspur, followed by that loss against Aston Villa. And then just a couple of weeks later, there was a 2-2 draw against Crystal Palace at home in December. We then went to the Club World Cup and it changed things. City came back confident, more motivated, a 35-game unbeaten run in all competitions, wins against Tottenham Hotspur away at the end of the season, breaking our Tottenham Hotspur new stadium curse in the Premier League as well, so that's well and truly out of the window now, that curse. Wins against Manchester United at home. We didn't lose at Anfield, where we do normally lose. We managed to make short work of Aston Villa at home as well. Manchester City looked sharper, they looked better, 91 points by the end of the season, winning 4 Premier League trophies in a row and making history to become the first ever side that has managed to do so. And so it's not been perfect, crisp performances from City. It hasn't been fluent at times from City. What it has been proper graft, hard work. 10 out of 10 for Manchester City's perseverance in a marathon run in the Premier League, going toe-for-toe. It was a 3-horse race between City, Arsenal and Liverpool right up until the end of March. It becomes a 2-horse race between City and Arsenal. They're going toe-for-toe again like we did last season. Arsenal improve on last season, adding Declan Rice to the squad, adding Kai Havertz to the squad. They've got more experience, better quality, taking it to the final game of the season. Did City buckle under the business end pressure? Absolutely not, and it's become a common theme under Pep Guardiola, and for that reason alone, this season has been a tremendous success. 4 Premier League trophies in a row is history making. It might never get done again in a generation or 2. It might never get done again in my life. That's the achievements that City have taken away from this season. It's gutting to lose to United in the cup final. It's sensational to win the Premier League trophy 4 times in a row. It is history. We're witnessing and seeing history, and history will look at Manchester City and say, that is absolutely tremendous what Manchester City have managed to achieve. Now, the only other thing that we can summarise upon is the Champions League. Bit of a strange one. For the first time ever, we'd won all 6 Champions League group stage games. We won both legs in the last 16 against FC Copenhagen, winning both them games 3-1, so comprehensively sailing through to the quarterfinals of the Champions League. It's a bit of a mixed match in the Champions League. Man City go into the same half that we had last year. This time it was Real Madrid in the quarterfinals, and if we made it through today, it was going to be Bayern Munich in the semi-final if they made it past Arsenal, which they did. And last season, if you cast your minds back, it was Bayern Munich for City in the quarterfinal, then Real Madrid in the semi-final. Now, Manchester City, we picked up a really good draw at the Bernabeu. Maybe should have won. Draw's more than a good enough result for us to get them back to the Etihad to beat them. And I thought Manchester City in this game at the Etihad against Real Madrid and in the game against Manchester United at Wembley, I saw these 2 games last season, and the approaches this season to last season were very different. We took the game to Real Madrid. It was all-out attack. We overwhelmed them. We battered them last season. Didn't see any of that at the Etihad, and ultimately, you don't kill Real Madrid off. They're going to stay in the game as long as possible. Happy to take it to extra time. Happy to take it to penalties. They've got the confidence, the belief. They've been there, done that, worn the T-shirt. They're the most successful Champions League side in history, and that is for a reason. And ultimately, lost that penalty shootout and went out of the competition. And same with that match against Manchester United. I thought in the FA Cup final, City looked motivated, they looked up for it, they looked well prepared last season in that FA Cup final. It didn't surprise me at all. It was a formality, and I think City had approached it this season. It was going to be another formality. Well, Manchester United prepared themselves better this season than last season. They looked more motivated, like they had a point to prove, and Manchester City, particularly in that first half, just didn't show up, and ultimately led to the disappointment of not winning the FA Cup. So overall, Club World Cup champions, European Super Cup champions, history makers with the 4th Premier League trophy in a row. Little bit of regret in terms of the approach for the FA Cup final and the Champions League match at the Etihad. Ultimately, it is what it is. But we weren't a million miles away. There's areas for us to improve on. There's stuff that Manchester City can be targeting into the summer window, trying to add a little bit more depth and quality to their squad. They've got the future of a few players that's a little bit uncertain right now, that needs them loose ends tying up. And I'm sure Manchester City will look to try and freshen up their squad a little bit as well, to add more quality to the team, but also try and add a little bit more depth, and also players who can offer something a little bit different for Manchester City, and try and keep not just the confidence high, but to try and keep the quality as high as possible, and bring in players who are versatile, who can offer something that we've not already got in the team. We're looking at a team here that's very near perfection, that's not quite hit perfection. They weren't quite perfect last season, but we were damn close to what you're going to get for a perfect season last season. So overall, I think this has been a very successful season for City. I think I'd probably be giving this season a 9 out of 10 if we'd won the FA Cup. Ultimately, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 because we've done our job, and it's a very good job that we've done to win the Premier League and the Club World Cup and the European Super Cup as well. It'd have been nice to have added the FA Cup to make it a 9 out of 10 season. Doing back-to-back trebles, which we weren't a million miles away from doing, would have been another 10 out of 10 season. So, 2023-2024 season, that is a wrap. I will see you guys next season with more regular Manchester City match content for you guys to enjoy. But from here, June 3rd onwards to August 30th, daily Manchester City transfer updates, as well as my weekly show, the transfer show with JSGC, returning from next week for you guys to enjoy. So I will see you then. Massive summer coming up. We've also got the Copa America and the European Championships to enjoy as well. So plenty of football to get your football fix, and plenty of Manchester City transfer content to get your City transfer news here every single day on my channel. So if you haven't already, do subscribe to my channel. It is free to subscribe. Also, don't forget social media links. They're in the description if you want to go and follow me on my Twitter, Instagram and TikTok. Email also in the description, so if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships for any videos or any general business inquiries. Don't forget to leave your thoughts in the comments below. What do you grade Manchester City's season out of 10? Let me know in the comments below. And also don't forget as well, to leave a thumbs up. 200 likes is the aim. Finally, I want to say a big thank you to today's video sponsor, Football Prizes. Remember, if you want a chance to spin the wheel to try and win some fantastic Manchester City prizes, including signed shirts from Rico Lewis, from Joško Gvardiol and from Pep Guardiola, go and check out the link in the description. Remember, £3.95 to enter per ticket. You can purchase as many tickets as you want whilst the availability is there. Competition ends on Thursday, 30th of May, with a 7:30 p.m. BST closing time. So do make sure you are quick. Do go and check it out. And best of luck for anybody that is entering. And a big thank you to Football Prizes for sponsoring this video. Remember, checking out Football Prizes and interacting with them does help to support the future content created here on my channel. So I would appreciate anybody checking out. And you've got some brilliant City prizes that you could potentially win as well, along with 17 instant prizes from this prize as well. So I'll see you all again real soon. So I've been JSGC. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope everyone is safe and well. 2023, 2024. What a season. History makers. Peace. Ciao for now.